I'm here with Quams. Now, Quams is normally quite a positive person, but I'm looking at him and I can see you're struggling a bit today. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2, drop points at home. All the more disappointing when you consider that we were 2-0 up and for whatever reason we let it slip. Kwame, your thoughts on the game?
Sorry, before I'll obviously answer that question. What's the definition of insanity to you, would you say, Laurie?
The definition of insanity, as I've come to understand it, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm looking at my manager, the same guy, I'm putting my neck on the line. And rightly so, people have had their views on my opinions in the previous weeks. Yes, 100%. But I put my neck on the line, just like a lot of Arsenal fans, for this club, for the manager. But when I'm watching a man who's been our out-and-out best midfielder and he's been played out of position, every single time he has played at right back, we've not won the game.
Actually, no, I think that might be statistically incorrect. There's been a couple of games that we have won. I think they beat Southampton with Partey.
That's Southampton, they're bottom of the table. When you're coming up against these other teams, which are higher level, more squad depth, they will target you and you will get found out. Now, we've had enough chances to see that playing Partey, as much as it's nice he's right-footed, if he loses the ball, if he's not in the right position, we will get exploited. And that's exactly what happened today. We cruise to 2-0 lead. Obviously, it's not like total domination, goals. 2-0. As a team that is challenging for a title, you cannot afford to drop your lead from 2 goals. I don't care about 2-0 is the hardest result to get or whatever. I heard it. I heard what you were saying.
There's this saying, and listen, I'm not with it. Apparently, there must be a reason for the saying. They're saying that 2-0 up is the hardest scoreline because it can, I guess what the implication is, it can lull the team that's winning into a false sense of security. I guess, did that happen to us today?
Of course it did. They switched off.
So that means there is some element of truth in the saying then?
I'm not saying, what I'm saying is it is not good enough for Arsenal Football Club. It's not good enough for a team that is claiming to say that they want to challenge the likes of Liverpool. You watch Liverpool win. You saw the difference in performances. You saw how clinical they were. They wasn't convincing in the whole game. They got 2 clear-cut opportunities. They bagged it. Game done. All right? Okay, I get it's at the end of the game. But when we are first half 2-0 up more or less, and then we allow a team to come back at home. And it's not the first or the second time this has happened with Emery, when we play Emery teams. But for all of a sudden, we switch off. Why are we allowing a right back to cross, to Cruyff turn and put a left-footed ball in with his weaker foot into the box, not being challenged? Why am I seeing a defensive-minded midfielder not picking up his man? He's trying to play offside. Why are we doing this? This is what frustrates me, because I can't even get onto Arteta. I have to get onto the players first and foremost, because that was not good enough. The mentality of this team, it shows that you're still inexperienced. You're still not mature in terms of defending. I don't need a world-class manager. I don't need anyone to tell me that. I know if this is my man, if you're my man, I'm staying goal side. Very, very simple. So I don't understand why the Arsenal players were not bollocking him, because that wasn't good enough for Partey. Moreno, he's allowing a man to beat him. He started his run behind him, overtake him and score a header. This is Tielemans. And you're putting your foot in like a little timid foot. How many times? So that's where I'll get onto Arteta.
You wouldn't have done that at Hackney Marshes.
Brother, I've got a big game on Monday, and I guarantee you, the guy that I'm going to be marking, RJ, I'm not going to allow him a sniff. And that's the mentality I expect professional players to do. I don't understand why I'm watching this
RJ,
rubbish.
if you're listening, yeah.
He knows. RJ knows. He knows. And that's what I'm saying. They will know from Monday. They will know. But it's not about me. It's about that club. And you're more or less hanging Arteta out to dry, because even though he may have put the tactics right and everything like that, and he's coached us to get a 3-0 win, they have let him down. They have let the club down. Today, they've let the fans down. What's the point of doing a North London derby? Everyone's G'ing each other up. I'm losing my voice for that performance there. There's no point. I'd rather us just lose to Spurs and then win against Aston Villa, if that's the case, or draw to them as well. We're taking 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And that's the thing that's frustrating for me. Arteta, after the game, I listened to him and he said, yeah, we're missing something. And I said that. I did say, yeah, we're missing something. I'll tell you what we're missing, Arteta. Not a bloody set-piece coach, a defensive-minded coach to tell man, get goal side of your man, because I'm sick and tired of seeing it. So for me, I'm very, very disappointed. I'm probably like how Turkish was last week. Because last week I was nice and calm and I was like, oh, Mr. Positive, Mr. Positive. Today, that's not good enough. That doesn't even start with the man. That starts with the players on the pitch. It's true what Evra said. It's true what all the other rival fans are saying about we're bottlers. We're bottling the league right now because that was a pivotal moment for us to say, you know what, Liverpool, we're going to go toe-to-toe with you. But instead, we're just giving it to them.
You put it as strong as that we're bottling the league.
Does that look like a team? That maybe the North London derby, yeah, maybe the hunger, we saw it. But does that look like a team today that wants to win something? How many times does Liverpool have to slip? It's not like they slipped once or anything like that. Man City last season or the last couple of seasons, they were untouchable. We couldn't get them. Liverpool have been slipping up, dropping points, drawing, not winning, and we still can't get close to them. What more do you want? So I don't want to look at the end of the season and be like, oh, if only we had scored that goal. If only it wasn't a handball. It doesn't matter. I don't want to be celebrating, even though I did celebrate, of course. But I am not an Arsenal fan based on deflected goals off the midriff of my striker or off a hand. That's not the Arsenal way. We are good enough to pass the ball forwards like Miles Skelly was doing. Why is it that he's doing 3 jobs in one? He's playing left back out of position. He's supposed to be playing centre mid, but he's playing left back. Then he steps into midfield, bosses the midfield for us. Then he's even playing in the final third and playing a through ball for Trossard. Where's my captain? That's what my captain should be doing. There's no creativity. And it's not because there's no Saka. It's because no one's willing to step and make a risk. Take a risk. Finish your dinner. And I've been saying it from day one. So that's frustrating for me. You go to all that hope, everything in the whole week, and you're throwing it all away. So I know, yes, people will be like, oh, you know what? It's a draw. It's a point. But for me, I'm looking at Liverpool. Liverpool haven't even hit their rhythm again. This is their drop. This is them dropping their level. And you wait until Liverpool start scoring. Now they got Darwin Núñez scoring. Salah's stopped scoring, but watch when he starts scoring. Then Jota, then Chiesa, then all of them. Who are we going to rely on? Raheem Sterling. And he's what? He's losing the ball after 5 yards and then kicking the man down. It's the mentality. That's the thing that pisses me off. I'm sorry. That's the thing that gets on my nerves. Not even the Arteta. It's the mentality of those players today was not good enough.
You know what? I have to say that you're not the only one to mention that. A few people I've interviewed after the game have said exactly the same thing, that the mentality, certainly today and in recent weeks, has not been good enough. But how do you address that as a manager?
I think he's tried to address it. He's tried to motivate them. He's held them accountable behind closed doors.
No, but he's actually gone on the record of saying, I love my players, I'm proud of them.
Behind closed doors, he will be getting at them. I know that for sure. We've seen it in the documentary. We've seen how he is behind closed doors. But to the world, to the media, he knows all eyes are on him. So he's doing the manager's job. He's saying, I'm proud of my players. He's trying to deflect the energy.
So do you think he needs to try a different way then? Maybe if he airs a couple of them out, or maybe not air a couple of them out, make it a collective thing and say this is not good enough.
He said it wasn't.
Maybe you should do that then.
He said it wasn't good enough. He said the defensive mistakes that we made is not good enough if we want to be at a certain level. But for me, he knows that there's certain players in that squad that are not good enough. And this is where we don't have the transparency as fans. We don't know the clarity of it. Everyone is obviously targeting Arteta, rightfully so, because he sets up the team. But like I said, I'm looking at the board. It's January, 18th? I'm seeing Man City making signings. I'm seeing everyone bringing in, bolstering their squad, and we are at our bare minimum, our bare limbs. And you're going to try and bring in a man at the end of the transfer window. If that's so, is he going to even have an impact? Is it going to be too little too late? So I've heard a lot of people saying it's like, we've moved too late. We're too stagnant, number one. We're reactionary. We're not proactive as a club. And that's the difference between the greats that are Man City and us right now as Arsenal. Saliba, when, 23rd season, Saliba got injured. We didn't have an alternative. Then the following season, it was Odegaard. Odegaard got injured. We didn't have no creativity. We didn't replace him. This season, Saka's been injured, and it's the same thing. So this is why I'll end it with, in terms of what is the definition of insanity, because that's something that the Arsenal board have to address and address it quickly. If they're not going to do that, Arteta will end up losing his job. That's how I feel. And it's unfair because he is a good coach. I can see the potential, but this current climate that we're in right now is not going to afford him to have another season or another couple seasons.
Okay, Kwame, he's been very honest and forthright there. You've heard what he's had to say, and he's not a happy man.